So hello guys, welcome to Java JSM, and in this video we can talk about Lombok tools, setup, and how we can use in our project. Also each and everything we can discuss with the help of the ID called STS, and we can also create the Spring Boot project and we can try to understand how exactly it will work. The first thing is what you have to do is while going with the Lombok setup, just you have to download the Lombok and you have to install in your system. So let's understand what is Lombok. So Lombok is a Java library that help to reduce the boilerplate code by using the annotations. It is particularly useful in the Spring Boot application or a Spring application which can benefit from the reduce the lots of the boilerplate code in their data models also. DTOs and other POJO classes. Here is the detailed guide on how to use a Lombok in a Spring Boot applications. Okay. The first thing is like the setups. So how you can do the setup? So adding a Lombok to your project, like in the pom.xml, you have to add the Lombok repository. Okay, Lombok dependency. Add the Lombok dependency and then after enable the annotations with the processing. So this thing is not required by default, it's a enable. So just you have to like install it, that is good enough. Okay, after that we can understood like how we can do work with that. Okay, so just go to the Google's and just search it Lombok. Okay, once you search the Lombok, download. Okay, you can see here download the Lombok. What you have to do is just download the Lombok. This is the version which is latest version, I think. Okay, it will download as a jar file, so go to the download. Okay, it's downloaded. Okay, what you have to do is go to your local files. Okay, or maybe you have downloaded, right? So click on here and this is the Lombok. Open the locations and this is the Lombok which is downloaded. Double click on that lombok.jar. Once you double click it, it will ask you the locations of the STS or Eclipse ID which is installed in your system. So you have to provide those details. So it's started. This is the interface of the Lombok, if you see, and here it's trying to scan the whole things which is like whenever your STS application is installed and what is the locations for that. Okay, so it's searching here. If it is not able to find out, what you have to do is you have to go to, let me minimize it, everything. So this is the STS. Maybe you are able to see in your console or maybe you already know the files. What you have to do is right click on that your STS, go to the properties file. Okay, in the properties file it will show the locations. This is the target locations. Just copy this target location. Okay, and come back to your Lombok here, and it's not able to scan. So what you have to do is specify the locations. So click on that, specify the locations, and you can provide the locations. Okay, here you can give your locations. So this is the location where my like P software installation, STS release, Spring Tool Suite. This is the location which I have provided. Okay, let me put it and remove the double quote and click on select. So if you see here, it selected those location or and that location it will move this Lombok jar automatically. It will move, and once you click the install and update, it will do the work and just you can do the finish. That's it. That is your work you have to do. Then after the project setup is happened based on the ID, now you have to go to the your whatever the ID you are using on that ID and then after what do I have to do is you have to add the Lombok dependency. So for example, this is the your project, so go to the Google and search Lombok dependency, okay, for a Spring Boot or anything, and you can go to the Maven repository, that is the good place, and from here you can select any Lombok, okay, Lombok Maven plugins. If you open it, okay, so this is the one way you have to collect from here, or another way is like in the STS or your Eclipse itself, you can right click on your project, go to the Spring and click on the add starters. Once you click on the add starter, you can get some option to add the dependency. Let me show you. So here if you see here, this is the Lombok version, so click on that, and from here if you are using the Maven, collect this Maven dependency. If you are using the Gradle, collect the Gradle dependency. If you are using something else, you can using the Kotlin, go with the Kotlin. So this is the lots of the options you have, so from that you can collect it. So this is also one of the way. The second way is like here we have a dependency options in your application itself. So here what you can do is you can search Lombok. So it will show you developer tools Lombok. Just click on that, go to the next. Once you go to the next, it will show you the Lombok dependency. Move this dependency to your pom.xml and just finish it. Now if you open your pom.xml, you can see here the jar is downloaded happening. Go to .xml, you can see those Lombok dependency. So let me open it. Let me minimize something a screen so it will look good. So here we have a starter and then a starter test, and one more dependency which we have added right now, which is Lombok, which is project Lombok. Okay, we have added those dependency and now we are capable to see all those things like annotations, how we can use it. Okay, so before adding a Lombok, if you create any class with variable, so I'm going to create some class which is model class class, and here I'm going to write dot model, and let's take the class name as a user. So user class I have created. So downloading jar is happening still. Okay, so it will happen. Okay, so what we have to do is now we are able to see those what are the things we have added. Those we can see easily, right? So the setups we have done as of now, we have added the pom.xml, those Lombok dependency. Now we can see the common Lombok annotations, which is going to help us to provide the inbuilt setter method, getter method, constructor, toString, builder, hash code, equals, everything. So those we can utilize it. Okay, so go to your STS. It's doing. Why it's too much slow? Updating the Maven project. Stop it. Cancel user operation. I don't know, it's going some slowness happening. Okay, but no issue, let's discuss some other things. So here if you see the common annotation says, here are the some of the most commonly used Lombok annotation in the Spring Boot application. So for example, if you have a one user class and in that user class we have a 15 or 16 variables as a class labels. So you want to create a setter getter method for that. So you don't want to create a setter getter method for that. You can just annotate those class as a rate getter or at the rate setter. It will automatically create all those method for you. So this is the use of the getter and setter method. Or these annotations is automatically generate getter and setter methods for all of your field in the class. This is at the rate data annotations. So a shorthand for the multiple annotations. So at the rate data is a combination of at the rate getter, at the rate setter, at the rate required arg constructors, two strings, and equal hash codes. So this is the combination, all those things you can get with the at the rate data annotations. Okay. Then after we have a no argument constructor, all argument constructor, and required argument constructor. Those also you can use based on the demand. So these annotations are generated constructor for these classes. So if you want to generate the constructor no argument like default constructor, all argument constructors, or required argument constructor, then you can take the help of these annotations. These annotations generate the constructor for these classes. Okay, if you see the builder, so it will provide the builder patterns, okay, to implement for your classes. So you can like write like a builder. Once you create the object dot build, you can write and it will create the object directly. So like that will provide the patterns. Two strings, equals, and hash code, you can also get it from the Lombok. So this annotation will generate two strings and equals and hash code methods, all those things. Okay. Okay, package name and give the class name as a users. Okay, so we have created one class which is user class, right? And if you see here, we have a right side one variables and outlines maybe. Okay, so if you see, this is the variables. There is no outlines, right? Expressions. Okay, so let me open the outline first. So let's switch to here, which is Java code. Let me remove this. Go to here and let's see any outlines. Still no, I think. Okay, no outline. So go to the console, and here in the console, if you see, we have a others, and go here outlines. If you search the outlines, it will show you. So this is the outline parts. So outlines is representing what are the variables you are going to create inside the class. So this is our project. Inside the project we have created one class in the model. So it's showing here com.f.models having a one user class, and this user class does not have any variables. So I'm going to create some variables. The variable name is private int id. So this is one variables which we have created, correct? What I'm going to do is I'm going to use here at the rate setter method, which we have seen in the last. Okay, we are learning the annotations of the Lombok. So if you see here, here are the some most commonly used Lombok annotations in the Spring Boot application. So which is setter, getter, data. So we can discuss those annotations benefits. Okay, so right now there is no method here inside this class. So what we are doing, we are creating a setter method, setter getter method for that with the help of this one. Good. Generate the getter setter methods and generate it. Once you generate it, you can see here, this is the getter method, this is the setter method for the id, and you can able to see here also get id, set id, right? So as a developers, every times maybe some people came at the end, and he also added one more variables here. Okay, and maybe also we have a some two string method also. So let's generate the two string based on the field. So two string is also generated, right? And this is the what is the getter methods, and we have maybe later some of one more developers came and he have a requirement to add in the user side one more variable which is name. Okay, so what is happening? Again, there is no setter getter method for that. So again, this developer have to generate the setter getter method for that, right? Again, he will go and he will generate setter getter method for that particular field. So go to the quick source, setter getters, and just select the name and generate it. So if you see, the set name and get name also generated, but if you see, again two string you have to generate, right? Because it's only printing the ID only. So again people will remove this one existing two string method. He have to generate one more times two string methods. So do you think this is little bit complicated task to do every time delete and add whenever you are adding some new field, right? It's not good, right? So these problems, and also we are doing lots of the effort to putting and creating a constructor, getter setter method, two string method, hash code equals lots of the things. So what Lombok is doing, he is trying to solve our problems with the help of the project Lombok API. So what he have done is he's saying, hey, you don't want to generate anything, make your class as much as simple. Make your class as much as simple, and I will give you some annotations. Just represent those annotation at the class level. It's automatically generate the method for you. So if I go to the class level and if I write as setter, setter, setter method, which is coming from the Lombok. So you can see import lombok dot setter annotations I have annotated, and because of these annotations you can see set id get name is generated automatically. Those methods are generated. If I annotate getter, right, automatically two more methods are generated, get id, get name, correct? Okay, if you want, hey, I want all those methods. For example, you want getter, setter, required argument constructor, two string, equal hash code, then what you have to do, you have to use the @data annotations. So remove these two. Okay, if you remove these two, okay, or maybe one more things, for example, this is the things you have, and one more developer will came and he have written one of field, private string and email. Okay, he just written the field, automatically setter getter method will generate it for that, set email or get email. Understood? So there is no writing again and again all those setter method, that is not required here. It's automatically generated for you. Let me remove and just annotate with the @data. So if you removed it, if you see here right side, there is no method right now, only three fields are there in the class. Now I am going to annotate this class as @data. So this is also a part of the Lombok annotations, and once you represent this class @data, it's automatically generate all those setter getter methods, equals method, can equals, hash code, to string, and with constructor also. So if you see what are the required things you want, it's automatically generated for you. If developer will come and he will write one more fields, a string phone, that's it. Just you add your variables here, it's automatically generate for that method. getter, setter, method, constructor, each and everything. You don't want to do anything, okay, because of the power of Lombok API. Okay, so everyone as a developers or maybe the architecture, they are trying to follow this thing so that the project will be very simple, look like a very simple, but based on the annotations we can do each and everything internally. Okay, so classes look like a very simple easiness. If you write lots of the getter, setter, method, lots of the things, then it will look clumsy, but here you are not able to see anything but the method is generated, right? Okay, let's go to the next. So we have like no argument constructor, all argument constructor, and required constructor. So those annotations also we can see. So right now I don't want those things, so I'm just removing it. Okay, just removing it. Now what I want is like I want no argument constructor. Right now only 4 field we are able to see here. Now I want no argument constructors, which is default constructor 1 parameters. Okay, so it will give you like that. If you want all argument constructor, okay, all argument constructor, so it will give you like that. Okay, if you give required constructor, okay, required argument constructor, then it will give like that. But if you see the required constructor right now for this one is default only, because they have to create object, nothing else. So only one you can write at the same times. If you are using one more, so you can use it, otherwise not need. Okay, so this is the 3 annotations you can use to generate the constructor based on your requirement. Okay, I hope you are clear. Next thing is @builder or toString equals hash code. So if you write here @builder, you have some benefits. I will show you. Builder, what they will give? They will give, if you see here right side, they will give the builder design pattern for this class, user builder. They have given the string also, they have given the method called builder also, and also user builder patterns also. So you can use those builder patterns. So if you want to make your class as a builder pattern, then definitely you can annotate this class as a @builder. Later we can understood in the depth. Okay, next thing is like you have a toString equals hash code. So let me show you. If you write toString, just you want toString, so just write toString and it will give you that toString. Okay, if you just want equal hash code, so in that case it will give you the equal hash code. So equal methods, can equal or hash code, this is the 3 methods it will provide automatically based on these annotations. So anyhow you have to remember those annotations based on your requirement itself. Okay, I hope you understood. Next thing is benefits of using a Lombok. So Lombok benefit is less boilerplate code, reduce the amount of the repetitive code, making your classes cleaner. If you write like that class and just provide the annotations, your class will look the very clean and easier to read. So it's provide the readability also. So readability, enhance the readability of focusing on the business logic rather than getter, setter or constructor. It's saying like, hey, you don't want to care about the getter, setter and constructor. You can just focus on the business logic. Apart from this, I will take care. So he is your friend, better friend, Lombok. Consistency, insurance, consistent implementations of the commonly used methods. So whatever the commonly we are using the method like getter, setters equals to a string, he will provide you for you. Potential drawback is like learning curve requires understanding of the Lombok annotations and their implication. You have to understand. ID support, although the most ID supporting the Lombok, there is an issue with some less common ID or plugins. Debugging, sometimes making debugging harder because of the code is generated at compile time, not visible in the source. So debugging is little bit hard if you are going with the Lombok. Okay, otherwise it's fine. Lombok can greatly simplify the development of the Spring Boot application by reducing the boilerplate code and improving the readability by using the annotations provided by the Lombok. You can focus more on the business logic and less on the repetitive task. However, it's important to be aware of the potential drawback and ensure your team is familiar with the usage of the implication. Sometimes what happens is, for example, if you are using the Lombok, what will happen is, maybe you have a model class 100, and in 100 model class, what do you have to do? Every time you have to generate the getter, setter, constructor, toString, equals, all those methods based your own, or maybe I already show you the complications if you add new field. So in that case, you can go to face lots of the issues. So in that case, Lombok is very useful. Okay, let me write here at the rate data. Okay, we have generated some method constructor. We want all argument constructor also. Okay, that's it. And I want to use this class, so I am going to the main class. Okay, and from the main class itself, I will create the object of our user class. Okay, user u equal to new user. Okay, and you can create the object based on passing those parameter also. Okay, but I don't want to use this constructor, parameterized constructor. I have created like that, but I don't have, I think, constructors in my class which is no argument constructor. So I will go here and I will provide at the rate no argument constructor also. Now if you see, your problem is resolved. Okay, previously no argument constructor is not there, now it's there, because if you take all argument constructor, no argument constructor will remove, default constructor will remove automatically. So we have created the object here. Let me set some value, u dot set id. You are able to see the method. We have not created any method as of now, but we are able to see those method, right? U dot set email pk22cs@gmail.com, like that, anything I have just given. U dot set name, maybe prince. Okay, this is the inbuilt method which is coming with the Lombok itself. Okay, and then after you can get the phone numbers. This is the phone numbers we have provided. Okay, so like that you can set the value. We in the same way we have a getter method also. Okay, if you want to print some data, so you can write u dot get name, get email, right? You can use this. You have a toString method also, so let me write s out and just print the data which is u dot toString. Okay, are you able to see how the work is simplified with the help of these annotations? Okay, so this annotations is very powerful, okay, to generate the code. And if you see this class, it's look very simple, very clean. Okay, and we are able to see all those method and we are doing all those work very easily. So this is the actual benefit of the Spring Boot Lombok. Let me run this code. If I run this code, you can see the output on the console. Okay, so if I open the console, you can see this is our banners, and below we have get the prince name, and then after this is your user object, ID is this one, prince, email ID, phone numbers. Okay, are you happy to see this Lombok power? And that is very powerful. So please try to practice and try to understand these things, like how to use Lombok in your project and how to utilize those annotations also. That is very powerful. Okay, thank you so much.